smelling like dope again. I don't even smoke, but my bro got a hole on him. Riding with a nigga from the pool with a bull on him. I don't think you know who you from. Nah, yeah, I know I am. Smelling like dope again. I don't even smoke, but my bro got a hole on him. Riding with a nigga from the pool with a bull on him. If he tryna go, let me know.
It was good. It was good.
What's goody, Keishawn?
Cool.
Bierria, what's goody?
It's out.
How are you? I had to mentally be like, Bierria.
Hey, when you first started, I was like, I don't know if she gonna get it. You know, it's kind of, hey, like Bierria. You know, let's go. It's all good.
What is that? Is that like what language is that? It sounds different. It sounds unique.
It's Creole. So my family's like my dad's family, they're all from like New Orleans. So they're kind of like in that melting pot of like French, you know, Native American, Aboriginal, kind of like all over the place. You know, a little bit of like Portuguese. I'm not exactly sure. You know, it could be Spanish or it could be another language. Who knows?
Yeah. And for those that don't know, he went to Narbonne High School, Cali native. NFL football player, free agent right now. Tell me, what have you been doing in this quarantine? What have you been up to lately?
Man, most importantly, just trying to stay sane for real. But really just training like every day, just working on myself. One of the things I really started to pick up was like meditating. That's like one of the big things for me. But other than that, really just you know, like studying myself, trying to figure out who I was, who I am, what's important to me besides like football and, you know, my life in sports and, you know, trying to figure out what else is important, what other hobbies I could also, you know, kind of really pick up and what are the things I like that I haven't really experienced yet. You know, trying to figure out a little bit of everything. You know, that's really even my
Tell
goal.
me, is your playlist when you're working out, is it the same as it was before going to quarantine, or do you have like your quarantine artist playlist? Have you been listening to new artists? I want to know, who do you listen to?
I'm not gonna lie, some of my favorite albums right now is Tiana Taylor, who is kind of like new. K Camp, I feel like got the best album of quarantine off the rip. Besides, you know, like some of my family from the I listen to Chief too.
Yeah, I see Chief. I see Chief in the comments.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place with it. You know, I don't really, you know, want to stick to too much rap about, you know, stuff that we're not really out here in the streets doing no more. So it's like I'm trying to grow a little bit. Like my boy Kev down there said, you know, it's all about growth. So my you know, what I listen to is really starting to expand. You know, I listen to a lot of Dade County people. You know, I listen to my cousin Reason, who signed a TDE. But really, it's just like new. Everything's new. I'm trying to just really get out of my bubble and experience new stuff.
That's cool. I mean, other than football, you know, that's pretty consistent. Tell me, what does football mean to you?
Football for me, man, it's like that first love. You know, I grew up a basketball player. You know, a lot of people look at me like, nah, you ain't no basketball player. But I grew up loving basketball. You know, my dad was a basketball player. All my brothers, we all played basketball. All my childhood friends, we grew up playing basketball. So that was kind of like our thing. So I'm really big about that. But I'm not as good at, you know, I realized I'm not as good at that. As soon as I stepped on the football field, it was like, it was easy for me to go out there and like, you know, show that aggression, you know, make plays, hit people. So football to me was just like being able to really express myself, you know, to really let out I want to say like the emotions that I had built up inside of me in a positive way. You know, there's other ways people do it, but for me, it was pure, you know, and like you ask a lot of football players, like when you play football, like especially like leading up to like college and high school, the emotions in the game is just so pure that, you know, you just kind of, that's why a lot of people just fall in love with it, you know. Me, it's just like, I don't know, it's a game, but at the same time, it's just like, it was that first kind of like therapy, you know, that first real therapy that you could really experience because you get to really just be yourself and just have all types of fun.
Okay, so you mentioned therapy, you know, with the amount of years that, and for those that are just coming in, NFL player, free agent, for the amount of years that you've been in the NFL, And that transition from playing with peers that were the same age as you versus playing with men, how can you say that has affected you as a man in general, on and off the field?
Uh, you really have to start to understand that well, especially at the professional level, it's a business, it's a career, and in the sense of every person individually is their own CEO, you know, and that's like the biggest thing, like, that people will say, like, oh, it's not really about the camaraderie of the team. The best teams, they have that, but as an individual, you have to be your own CEO, so you have to really budget your time well. It's nobody really keeping you on track anymore. It's all about what you really like, what you really want to get into. So and then there's a lot of things to get into when you're a professional athlete. Now you have the resources to really do whatever you want. So one of the things is really learning that you're a CEO. Now you have to figure out what works best for your body, and if you have to find things that work for your body, and then you have to also start to train your mind to deal with different things, to develop different things. A lot of things that's new is like guys are starting to represent themselves as far as like not needing an agent, and I have a few teammates and like friends who now they're at the point where they represent themselves. They don't need to pay an agent 3%, 2%. Now they're like, man, bump an agent. Like, now I understand how this game works. Now I could like basically run myself. Now I'm sitting at the table with, you know, people who are in charge, and I'm like, okay, there's nobody representing me. Now I'm the man at the head of the table you have to deal with, and that's exactly how it should be. But people don't talk about these type of things. So this is some of the things that I've started to realize that you're honestly a CEO in every aspect, as far as your body, understanding who you are as an athlete, and then business wise, understanding how to conduct business, be a professional off the field also.
So do you plan on, in the future becoming your own agent, your
Mm.
own, representative?
Right now, I do have an agent. What's up, boy? What's up with it? Yeah. So, yeah, I do plan on doing that, but to a certain extent, how this game works, until you could just go in there and be like, yeah, you guys know who I am. You guys see my highlights, my stats. You kind of need that connection. It's almost like, the business you're in, when you're getting an interview, like when you're doing an interview with a well-known person, and they're connecting you in a circle with other people that you want to do interviews with. It's kind of like you get that leg up on the rest of the people who are at the same level as you. So in the sense of, if I'm working with somebody and sorry, my dog's all over me. Come on,
You're
man.
good.
Yeah. So it's like if I walk into the building now and I'm like, yo, I'm Keishawn Bierria, like you guys know my stats and what I do. They're like, okay, like, yeah, so what are we talking about? Like, what type of deal you want to sign to? And those are the things I'm not fully familiar with right now because I haven't had those type of deals. Everything I've been doing is kind of like, for the first 4 years, like rookie-based salary. So since I got drafted, it's a certain amount of deal that I could really push for, to a certain extent. So that's kind of like one of the things I'm really, becoming new with as far as like understanding the structure of deals.
Hmm.
Then, they always got the fine print stuff, and that's what people really need agents for, is the fine print. So most guys do have like lawyers and stuff that, run through those type of things for them, which I'm not necessarily comfortable with. So I'm like, okay, I'm cool. We could take this 2-3%, you know what I'm saying? But understand, like, eventually, like, I'm gonna start to pick up and learn this type of stuff, and eventually want to represent myself.
Yes, and as you should, I think we all have to put ourselves in a position to learn sometimes so that we can be in that position to be, making calls and, really making things, move into play. But I also want to know too, with you getting into the NFL and you already kind of being like where you want to be, it's like, how do you maintain inspiration? How do you maintain focus? And I want to know, who do you look up to in a sense of work ethic to constantly remind you, you know what, I got to keep going harder. And then that could be yourself, I don't know if that's yourself, but who would you say inspires you in a sense of work ethic?
Hey, I feel like in the position I'm in, I'm kind of like in a blessed position, even though I'm not with the team right now, because I have teammates and close friends who are doing extremely well in the league. You know, Pro Bowlers, you know, guys who are literally the head of their organizations, or guys who broke out and are now like, okay, we wasn't really looking at this guy, but now we're like, man, this is the guy. Like, this could be a Pro Bowl player. You know, and I see my teammates who are guys I've, you know, spent time with in college since we were, you know, coming in at 20, you know, 18, 19. And now, you know, all these guys are stepping up into these roles. And I see how they work. I see how they take care of their bodies. You know, we talk about different type of things. We talk about training. And these are the guys, excuse me, I necessarily look up to because we come from the same background. You know, I understand who these guys are off the field. I understand, you know, what they went through with their families. I understand the things they're going through. So now I understand that I see their success. So I see the whole path of growth. And that's kind of like some of the things I look up to. And then I look back at where I came from, you know, my growth, the journey I had. And I'm like, man, like, hell yeah, like, just keep working. It's going to pop. Like, it's going to happen for you. So it is a little bit of myself, like self-reflection, but then I just look out into the world and I look at my circle and I'm like, bro, you gonna eat. It's just a matter of time. Just don't quit. Just keep working. So it's a little bit of both.
I feel you. I mean, what's meant to be yours will be yours.
Absolutely.
You know, it's already written. You know, so it's gonna happen in due time. But you know, with the Black Lives Matter, you know, Kaepernick taking a knee, and the NFL. So I mean, how did that affect you? And what type of responsibility did you feel the need to speak on it, or you haven't really had a chance to speak on it, or like, do you feel like at odds? Tell me, how does the whole Black Lives Matter movement make you feel as being an African American man, you know, and being a football player?
The entire movement itself was very powerful, you know, and then we look at the movements that we've had in like my lifetime, you know. I haven't seen anything that powerful since like Martin Luther King, you know, and that's us looking back at history books and, you know, trying to figure out what they're pretty much going through and what they were fighting for. And it was on a total different sense. Like, these people are fighting for rights, you know, to vote. You know, now it's, you know, people are fighting to not be killed in the streets, to be slain. Like, it's very powerful, but then you look like, man, you know, all this time, and, you know, we really haven't got that far. You know, it's like, in a sense of we have got that far, but now we're looking like, okay, all this time we spent and, you know, things that were happening are now being brought to light, or things that we thought were fixed weren't fixed, or the people we voted in aren't really bringing change, you know. So, you know, you look at the entire movement and you're like, okay, this is powerful, but then I don't agree with people kneeling, you know, with cops to show like, okay, we're one of you. Like, that doesn't make any type of sense to me. Like, you know, these people kneel with cops and then 30 minutes later, you know, shooting tear gas into a crowd. It's like, that's not supposed to be happening like that. So something along the lines of, yeah, we might need to get somebody else in office, or yeah, we might need a new head of a LAPD or whatever PD, but it's not necessarily. I don't see the improvements that should be happening. Like, this is the masses versus a few enforcers, you know. And when you look at history and how everything came about, you know, necessarily we don't need these people to be in the positions they're in. You know, nobody should have the right to kill somebody in the street, you know, and it shouldn't be happening. It should be a rare occurrence, but now it's just like, it's so widely seen, you know. And it's happening so much that it's kind of demeaning, you know. It's desensitizing. Like, people aren't able to really connect with it because they see it over and over again. Like, you know, every time I look at my phone, there's something about like some type of lynching, or, you know, some political commercial between Joe Biden and Trump where they're like, we defunding the police. This guy supports defunding the police. to a certain extent, like my high school wasn't funded at all. You know, it was hard to just get meals for kids at school, to get transportation. You're telling me these people are getting, you know, 30, 40 million, 50 million, you know, to a year for just basic, you know, respond to a call type jobs. You know, of course, you know, it involves showing up and having dealing with certain people, but at the same time, you're pulling up to deal with human beings. These are the same people who just graduated high school, who didn't get the necessary knowledge they needed coming out of high school, and now they're going into the world and they're dealing with the same problems they grew up with. You know, it's a absolute structure thing, and Black Lives Matter is shedding a light on that. But people have to understand, you know, it's a bigger game than what's really being shown. You know, it's literally like, you know, how they say like Republicans versus Democrats, or leftists versus, you know, all those political type terms where there's different sides and everything. People have to start to understand there's only one side. You know, there's the people, and it's what's best for the people. You know, it's not really a color thing. I don't really think it's a color thing. I think it's literally the wealthy versus the people who don't have money. And I'm not gonna call them the poor because necessarily we have more money, but you know, and we are the money. If we stop moving, the money stops moving. So who's really wealthy? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these people, they know how to survive on, you know, literally food stamps versus a billionaire who ain't never cooked for himself in his life. So it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So when we talk about the Black Lives Matter thing, it's kind of like a touchy subject. It's almost
I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like with you having the platform and influence that you already have, what type of responsibility do you feel like you have to speak on these matters?
I think I have a major responsibility, but it's like, you know, we could have a talk at level 1, or we could have a talk at level 5. You know, a lot of these people aren't really like ready for that. Level 1 is like, okay, I'll say something that might spark something like, okay, what does that mean? You know, and it's not for me to sit here and explain it to you. I'm not your teacher. You know,
Yeah.
You really have in your life is going to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Closest people in your circle. You know, a lot of people in my circle, we necessarily don't talk about this. You know, it's a lot about amongst each other. We talk about it now because it's prevalent now. But coming out of high school, you know, I think I might have asked my quarterback one time, like, yo, you want to take a knee with me? He's like, nah, bro, I'm good. And I'm like, hey, I respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was your choice, but at the same time, like, we need to take this knee. You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't want to shed too much light on myself, or I don't want to shed too much light on you. You know, if you'd have been like, yeah, I'm down, all right, let's do it together. But it's not like that. A lot of people are having to step out front and get burned for it instead of stepping together. So when you ask me about it, I'm like, yeah, we can talk, but it's levels. Like my boys.
It's levels. Yeah. You know, I know there's levels to this. And you know, like being in the NFL, you know, like we said, it can be a very heated topic because you have people who are entitled to, you know, everyone has their own emotions and they take it in their own ways. But how would you say that has affected some of the relationships, or has it not affected some of the relationships with coaches and other football players?
You know, right now, so there's this outcry to connect, to try to understand where other people are coming from. A lot of professors and people I worked with in college are reaching out to me like, yo, like, I'm sorry, you know, I could have been a better, you know, educator in college, or I could have been a better friend because I didn't understand these things that were happening to you. And when you would bring it up, it was kind of like I couldn't connect to it. But now, since it's like being shown in a light by such a mass group of people and it's trending all the time, now they're like, oh, now I understand. Like, so when it was just me, you couldn't really connect with it.
Yeah.
But now you see people getting choked out in the streets, or you see, you know, somebody getting shot in their back 5 times as they don't want to deal with the cops. Like, you know, now it's a bigger topic. But it was big, you know, when I got pulled over in college because my car windows was tinted out and 6 cops hop out the car. It's like, that was big for me, you know, because it's my life. but until it affects everybody, it's not going to be big for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know this was happening. Yeah, you didn't know because you don't wear this, you know, the skin color like me, you know, and I can't just blend in, you know, this is my camouflage, you know, so it's like, I can't blend in, bro. I'm always going to stand out. And, you know, it's a blessing for us, you know, because this is who we are, you know. But at the same time, like, people are able to hide behind that sometimes. They're not, you know, just like, you know, back in the day when people like, oh, you could pass as white if you're light skinned to a certain extent. But, you know, it's just like that. Like, these people wanted to blend in. They didn't want to be seen as black or whatever, you know. They wanted to just be seen as regular like everybody else. You know, realistically, we're not like everybody else, you know, in the sense of when you look at us, you determine who we are based off our skin color. And necessarily it's not fair, but it's true. Like, we are who we are, and it should be accepted. You know, we should be taken care of like everybody else, but it's not the case. It's not the case.
What would you say your conversation is like with your peers, with your other African American peers who are also in the NFL? What are some of those combos like? I mean, you don't have to tell me verbatim, but you know, just like a essence of what, you know, what some of your peers are saying to each other, or what you're saying to your peers.
Uh, hmm. That's a good question. So, you know, like a lot of people, like my people in here tapping in, is like it's levels, you know. So, um, a lot of my peers, we sit and we talk about like, okay, you know, how can we fund a change? You know, since we're basically getting good money for what we do, how can we fund it? You know, how can we use our image to help push something? And one of my boys, Shaq Thompson, right now he's doing something with Christian McCaffrey with the Panthers, and they created an organization that links cops and I want to say like children who might be in the system or, you know, at a young age where, you know, they give them the stigma of like troubled kids. Like they're linking them and cops together in like camps to where cops spend time with these kids. And, you know, they might just have like games set up for them or, you know, any type of thing set up to where they can literally just spend time with each other and understand each other. And, you know, I see programs like that. I'm like, bro, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool. But, you know, then you have like other teammates that are like, all right, well, we just need to focus on, you know, prison reform. I'm like, man, that's a whole nother topic, you know, because now we got guys who are getting locked up and serving 20 years and then somebody else do the same crime with the same judge and now they're serving 2 to 3. I'm like, yo, that's a whole nother topic, bro. Like, you know, so it's kind of hard because people really, you have to really choose one thing and go into depth with it if you really want to create a change. You can't just graze over it. So some of the conversations we have is just like, have you researched it? Have you studied it? You know, it's like, what are you doing in your own time to really bring to the group and educate each other? So I think that's one of the major things is like, what impact can you make? And that's one thing my boy Shaq is doing. Like, he's focused on his one source, you know, one thing he could do very well that could really create a change. And, you know, I think that's dope, you know, so he's honing on his thing. And then I got other friends who are like in the Bay Area working with other organizations to, you know, help with like educational programs, even like help reestablish the Black Panther, like, because, you know, they had like after school programs, you know, they were feeding neighborhoods, like all these different things, you know, and it's like, find a place where you fit in and do it well. You know, we're not just exceptional athletes, we're exceptional men. We just seem to excel at sports because, you know, we're gifted in that sense, but we all understand that we're also gifted in other things also. And that's really what it comes down to, you know, it's just really finding the thing that you really want to create the change in and go create it. You know, also share it, but, you know, just go create it. You know, find whatever really sets your heart on fire, bro. Study it, be the best at it. You know, like I'm trying to be the best linebacker I can be. Take it off the field. Do it there. You know, go do it. You know, I would say that's one of them. some of the things we talk about.
So going forward, do you feel like you're going to continue to do more work internally to understand who you are more and, understand who you are more? Or would you say you are going to more so do something more publicly where people can see it and see that you are well involved with using your status to help your group of people, your Black culture, African American culture, not Black.
So I would say, no, I'm going to say personally for me, whatever I decide that I'm going to do is going to be on a very, very high level. So right now, I know everything I have to funnel it back into myself. I got to really figure out what I want to do personally, who am I personally, and how far I want to take this. I could go start up, I got numerous degrees, one in sociology. I could go work in, social things, help kids find better households or, help them do that. But it's like, do I want to work at that level or do I want to go higher? Because right now we're in a system. It's almost like it is a system. It's like, do you want to go toward the top of the system or do you want to stay at the bottom of the system? But every level of the system needs help. Every level of the system needs more people like us who want to step in and help people. Everything is not about money. And a lot of people say, like, once you get money, like, more money, more problems. Like, that's legit how it works. But with more money, you have more power to help or more power to make more money. It's whatever way you want to swing it. And right now, I see a lot of people who just want to pour their money into helping people. So my thing is, I'm not sure what I want to involve myself with. Definitely want to get some programs running for football and everything, but only reason I haven't had a football camp yet is I don't want to just take kids outside and run around, do some drills. Even though Play 60 is dope, but I want to give them information to where they can understand themselves, you know what I'm saying, to really figure out who they are. Because there's not enough people sitting there like, yo, who are you? People aren't asking kids that, they're not asking kids like, yo, what do you really want to be? I want to be a professional football player. All right, cool, whatever. What else? Because when you're done with football, you're going to either be in your early 30s or your early 20s. You got a 10 to 11-year gap, you know what I'm saying, that a few greats do, but, it's a lot. You have a lot of time left in your life. And that's one thing people always talk about, like, yo, what are you going to do after football? You always got to have a plan B. My plan B was play football. Like, you know what I'm saying? My plan B was go get this loot, get this money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Put my family on.
Football was your A, B, C. Like, you were like, football is everything.
I've done a lot. I mean, as far as like internships, worked under numerous people, but all of it was really around the aspect of sports. Either it was in the business side of sports, like being an athletic director, being a head coach, being a coach, a position coach, like any type of coach or whatever. Like that is like instilled in me. Like I know that like the back of my hand. I've been to enough donor dinners to understand how to talk to donors and like, all right, well, we got a great group of guys coming in, but like, it wasn't really what I wanted to do for the community. I could be a head coach and just, recruit everybody out of LA. Like USC should have been doing like, yo, all my guys are coming from LA. We're gonna run the West Coast. We're gonna run college football with just LA. That's possible. That's easy to do, but at the same time, it's like, all right, what about the rest of these communities that college coaches aren't going in and talking to these kids and like seeing what type of players they are? Like, if I was a coach, I would literally want to know who my players are. Before I recruit them, I'm like, what do you want to do besides football? Like, that'd be an important question for me because I don't want to just recruit somebody like football. That's all I know. That's all I do. Like, no, I want to bring somebody in who's a good person. You know what I'm saying? Who actually wants to do great things, not just on the football field, but off the football field. Because I don't want to bring you in, you spend your entire life force focused on football, and when you lose football, you're lost.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens to a lot of percentage of people, especially football players. Like, oh, yeah, guys, they go broke. Like, no, they lose themselves. Like they literally play
Yeah,
football their entire
yeah. So
lives.
that's another question too. What's up with the whole stigma with, they'll say that athletes don't know how to save their money, or they just run through their money. You're saying that it's due to them losing themselves.
Yeah, I would say it's like direction. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy when you have a goal in your mind, a direction that you want to be, and you know, as soon as you reach that goal or you reach that destination, you're looking around like, okay, what else can I do? You know what I'm saying? It's like football's over. What else can I do? And you could spend years thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Still living a lifestyle, still hanging out with your teammates. You know, well, ex teammates. You know what I'm saying? Still pulling up in Miami like, yo, I'm here for the weekend. We going up. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to do that, and a lot of people get caught up in that because they've done it, they've experienced it, they understand how it feels to be, you know what I'm saying, around that. So, um, but they don't understand like how we get paid. You literally get paid for those games. So if you're not playing, you're not getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like you miss a game, you're not getting that check unless you're on a contract and you're one of those guys. But like it like legit when the season ends, the paychecks end, and there's no oh yeah I'm gonna pay you later, like none of that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys, they go out like yeah we on a yacht. You know what I'm saying? They blowing bags like you can spend a whole game check in a day. That means you got what like 14, 15, 16 games left. That's for the rest of the year. We just talking about a day. So this is the type of things like, it's also budgeting and all this other stuff, but it's direction. It's you got to have a community around these people. It took a community to get there. When you're done, you need a community around you to help you stay where you at. You brought this money in. All these players make this money to help their communities. That's what a lot of guys. That's what a lot of guys forget. When they get to this point, like, bro, these people help us get here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like me personally, I put in the work. I was there, but I had numerous coaches, numerous trainers, numerous friends. Like, yo, let's get up and go get it. They helped motivated me, and I'm not. And at the end of the day, I'm the one getting paid. But at the same time, I'm going back and I'm me. I'm them with. You know what I'm saying? I'm me with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm barbecuing for the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like these people around you, they got to be ready to build at every level. They can't just build you into a college or professional player because when you're done, they're not building no more. Now everybody's leaning on you. And you got a whole community of people leaning on you like, yo, I need 5 racks, bro. I just crashed my whip. Like that money move fast. You know what I'm saying? And people who don't got money, like, bro, how could you lose $1 million? Bruh, y'all don't know how fast $1 million could go. Y'all
So
don't know.
how much money have you blown in a day?
Oh man, let's not talk about that. Talk about that. I ain't gonna throw no real numbers out there, but I made some dumb decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
yeah, I ain't gonna talk about that, but something. Uh, I would say like, I'll just give you a number. So we was in Miami. It was probably maybe like 16 of us at a table. We were up in the top of the club or whatever, and the table came out to like 36,000 for one night, and this is during Super Bowl weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna say it wasn't no Aaron Donalds at our table, but I got some prominent football teammates. I'm like, yo, y'all got this, and they like, no, we splitting this. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and like that's how fast it go. But you're like, yo, we here for the Super Bowl. It's gonna be the one, maybe the one time we in the league. The Super Bowl's in Miami. Might as well do it. Might as well go in. You know what I'm saying? It's the last time we all gonna be here as a team. Time tick and go. So that's the way we live. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't think 10 years, 15, 20 years into the future, like, yo, I gotta stack this and invest this money, or even, make your money, make more money for you. But now you see an influx of people doing more now. You know what I'm saying? Especially this time that we're all locked up, you can't be out traveling and everything. It's making you start to think like, okay, what else can I do? Which is dope. Now people are starting to really wake up and realize like, yo, football in, what am I going to be up to? You know what I'm saying? And I think this is a great time. Honestly, I think, we should get quarantined every year. Like, for real, like, some people hating it right now. Like, yo, my money stopped. Like, nah, bro. If you ain't spending this time trying to better yourself, understand the people you're around you more, try to know yourself, know that spirit, that peace of God that's inside you. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what to say, you know, but all I'm gonna say is like, man, start now, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, this time is meant for you, you know, not nobody else.
And I love that.
Miami will do it.
No, yeah, Miami's lit.
Oh,
Miami's
man.
definitely lit. But you know, you said something that made me think about something. What did you say? I don't know, but basically, I want to come back to though. But you saying basically yes. That's what I was going to get back to. You were saying that you've been focusing on yourself. You've been reflecting. You've been kind of waking up.
Yeah.
And you kind of touched on that at the beginning of the interview. You said you've been working on other hobbies. What are those personal hobbies for yourself?
Oh, my other personal hobby, like one thing I said was meditating, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably fell off this last week, maybe week and a half. I've been doing a little bit of traveling, but that and starting to like study and use herbs, like the power of herbs, um, meditating mantras, and the biggest one, yo, studying our true history, yo, that could be mind blowing. You know, to
Yeah.
understand that, you know, we got this skin color, but we're called black, we're called African American. Before that, we were Negro. You know, it's like, were we Africans before that? You know, so, and I'm not going to say the answer because, like, yo, if y'all tuning in, you got to go find it for yourselves. But like
That's
our history is literally gold. Like, it's literally gold. It's like it's worth more than money can buy. And when you find it, it's like you found a piece of yourself. So the people who are like, man, I don't know what we are. Like, I don't necessarily want to call myself black. I'm be honest with you. Like, after this year, hey, you know, a lot of people are seeing this bougie be called black, but like literally black, you know, it puts you in the system. It puts you in the system. It
yeah.
allows, and the things they do to you, the things they've done, calling yourself black allows them to do that to you. And now, you know, whoever is going to like listen to this and watch this, they're like, what? Study it. Trust me, study it, follow up. I'll shoot you some info. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is literally how the system works. And it's built that way. You know, we have the power to manifest and create anything. And we literally manifested our own prison. Like, people like, yo, we free. Like, bro, if you get put over by the cops anytime he can harass you, you're not free. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not.
That's true.
Yeah, this is not Wakanda. This is not your happy place. Like now you're nervous every time you see a cop. Like, you looking like, damn, he finna hop behind me. Like,
Yeah, but even though like Wakanda is not even speaking on a level of like really getting to know ourselves within, you know, it's
yeah,
like
it's manifest beautiful.
yeah, it's manifesting
Yeah.
like technology with culture with all this other stuff when versus really just focusing on finding the divine beauty in your existence.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you know, wait, someone said I look bored. No, baby, we're just having fruitful conversation. You know, you get lost in the gaze. You ready to get one? The fruits. I have no idea what that means. But back to what you were saying too about you wish that we had a quarantine. I wish I have a quarantine every year almost. What would you say? How are you feeling right now about the quarantine and football and getting back to playing football and like the doubt with that whole thing?
All right, so you know they just came out and said we can't exchange jerseys after the game. And my boy AJ, I don't know if he tuned in still, but I reposted his video earlier, had me crying, laughing like, so you telling me I could go out here and tackle people all day? You know what I'm saying? For a whole entire hour, we sweating and bleeding on each other, and I can't talk to this man and give him my jersey after the game? Nah, bro, that don't make no sense. Let me see. He said that's this AJ right here. That's why every country want a piece of Africa, the richest continent in the world. Gold, diamonds, all cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just Africa, bro. You know, like the real wealth is right here, and we're athletically able to do. You know what I'm saying? We're entertainers, right? When they tell LeBron to shut up and dribble, like, yeah, if
Yeah.
we start speaking, we gonna say something that's too real. because we've been around this our entire lives. You know, and I think that's the biggest fear. You know, for us to shut up and dribble, for us to stop dribbling and start talking, and to realize, yo, like if we go into politics, some of these dudes, you know, they gonna start hitting you with facts, and facts are gonna be slapping you in the face, like, yo, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to throw codes or like, oh, I'm not gonna answer that. You know what I'm saying? You've seen the little political interviews that are like,
Yeah.
so on this subject, we'll like, and they're like, oh, I can't answer that, whatever. It's like, nah. When we conducting business, I need exact answers. You know what I'm saying? I need the truth. And you're not willing to give the truth, we can't work together. So a lot of these people don't need to be in the positions they're in. Plus, half of them is over 60. You know what I'm saying? So they're already stuck in old ways. So we're like, yeah, we already need to move you out anyway. So it's only a matter of time. You know what I'm saying? Alpha Dom, you got a lot to say, bro. You need to go ahead and get into politics. Talking a lot, no action, huh? Man, you know what I'm saying? And that's really how it is. But we do have people who are all about action. You know, a lot of people don't like Trump, but he's saying shit raw. You know, a lot of people don't like to take it that way, but if it's raw, it's coming out, it might come out the wrong way, but he's saying it to where you can understand it. So a lot of people get offended. They like, damn, for real, we need to do this and that. But it's like, yeah, it's offended because he's not sugarcoating it. You know, everybody
I think that aspect of him of being raw or just saying what he wants is respectable because of the fact, like you just said, you want someone to be real with you. So for those who want someone to just be real with them, they're like, oh yeah, you know, because I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter, but you know, I just want to explain this really quick. I think that people wanting that rawness from him is an attractive, you know, an attractive aspect to anybody, you know, that raw, that real. But
nice.
I don't feel like he's being real. You know, it's like a phony bluntness, or it's like you're, well, to me, in my eyes, the way I perceive it is like he's well, it's like he's speaking, because it's like you say that, you know, and I feel you on that, but it's like when you're seeing what he's saying at these rallies, you feel me? And it's like you're just trying to put more hate in people's hearts, you know, and continue to linger on this thing of hate, you know, and he's using that as a driving force and using fear and hate trying to use that to his advantage. So it's like, he gives you that aspect of, oh yeah, he comes off as, I feel like it's kind of like a blurry mirror almost, like, you know, it's like, I'm gonna give you what you think you want, which is this aspect of, oh, I'm gonna just say what I feel, I'm gonna just say whatever it is, how, you know, whatever's on my chest. But in actuality, if you actually listen to what I'm saying, I'm not really saying anything at all. And that's how I feel about him.
Yeah, to a certain extent. But like I said, you know, it's levels to this talk. Like, you know, I could break down one of his speeches, but I don't necessarily agree with him because I'm not a racist person, in the sense of, I don't care what skin color you are. I don't care how you view the world, who wrong, who right. You know, if you're respectable, if you respect where I come from, I respect where you come from, we can sit down and share a meal. You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't, you know what I'm saying, feel like you need to disrespect me in some type of way, we good. We good. But as soon as you start disrespecting people and their cultures and start to like belittle people, that's where we have this falling out. Because, you know, I can't really involve myself with that because I come from a place where, you know, some of my best friends, Polynesian, Hispanics. You know, I had a few white friends growing up, you know, and then I'm raising a you know, affluent black community. So it's like, we like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could literally go to any of these neighborhoods and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, then I can go to Orange County and, hey, you know what I'm saying? Them people gonna rock with me too. But it's like, I'm not for that because, you know, it's a certain way you're supposed to just respect people. And, you know, it's like there's like an unseen law of how you treat people. And when you break that, you know, it's kind of like, yo, you got to get on. You know, like you're not going to support that in any way. But then there's things that you have to understand with this politics, as far as, you know, the people that are saying they're here for you. And then, you know, they pass laws like the war on drugs that affected millions. You see what I'm saying? And these are the same people that are like, no, now we're here for you. We should defund the police. Like, okay, well, when we defund the police and now we need enforcers in our communities, you know, it's not going to necessarily be people from our communities. Now they're calling in people from the National Guard, you know, who don't have to abide by the same laws that the police have to abide by. You know, now you call in the National Guard, these people could just kick in your door with AR-15s and pull you out your house and literally not say a word. So it's like, you know, I had somebody say to me when Hillary and Trump was running, and he was like, yo, I was like, yo, Hillary, you know, she got all these war crimes and, you know, she did all this shit, and then Trump's a racist. He was like, you know, well, unfortunately, like, if you decide to vote, you're going to have to choose the lesser evil. And I was like, choose the lesser evil? And I was like, choose the lesser evil. So if I choose the lesser evil, I'm still choosing evil. That's not for me. My spirit can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you come to me as a just person, now you're telling me the truth, like, as far as like what's going on with this country. But you have to understand, this stuff goes so deep, you can't necessarily be a good person and get things done. Because even if you're a good person, it's like in the movies, like some type of way, someone's going to blackball you, someone's going to threaten your life, you know, and then other people are going to demand certain things. Like what AJ saying, have people showing their true colors is a good thing. People are not hiding behind cloaks. Like, yeah, like, okay, Trump's a racist. It's trending. Trump know everybody think he's a racist. But does that, if he knows that, and he's like, okay, I'm still the president and I'm still going to do these things to help y'all, is he truly racist? Like Trump, one of the quotes Trump said was, I've done nothing to you black people. You black people don't know who you are. And I'm like he literally said this. I'm like, yeah, we don't necessarily know who we are. We're calling ourselves black. Like, so I'm thinking like, damn, does this have something to do with Deshaun Jackson quote that he quoted from Hitler? Not saying like anything Hitler says or does is true, you know, like Trump is supposedly racist. Hitler supposedly, you know, racist as far as exterminating the Jews and all this other stuff. But to a certain extent, that means eventually, you know, these bad people are going to say something true. You know,
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say that, you know, I am a believer that good people have bad sides and bad people have good sides. And there's no all-out good person, I feel like, you know. And you will have people who are, in, you know, eyes of the masses are seen as horrible. You know, like you're saying, like Trump, you know, him being a racist, right? And I feel like, yeah, it's hard because, yes, it's so much deeper than what we're actually speaking on it. Like, we're speaking on, like, a general standpoint. But, like, Trump having kids in cages and, like stuff like that, it's like, all right, bro, so you're saying you're doing stuff for the community, but are you actually just doing it so you won't hear anything from us? Like, are you doing it, like, could you be doing more? You get me? Like, are you just doing just enough? Because, you know, as the president, you still do have to stand for all the people, and, you know, this is a free country. You know, like, it's like glossing things over almost. Do you feel like that could be what he's doing, is trying to gloss things over and just doing the bare minimum to make people feel like, oh, I'm doing something for you all? Or do you feel like he is what you're saying, that he's doing things for the culture, even though he might come off as being a racist?
So it's kind of hard because you have to understand, like, just how there's two parties, people are choosing sides. So whatever you see or you hear, you kind of have to take with a grain of salt. Like, what does it quote? Like, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. It's like, okay, this quote that Trump say, it might seem racist, you know, but we might just get one sentence of the entire speech he gives. You know, just how with certain things, like they take one insert of a thing a person says, and they make it seem like, you know, I'm trying to bash certain people, or, you know, I'm trying to demean certain people. So I don't necessarily like, we're putting the kids in the cages. That's just horrible. That's just like, if anything along the lines of what's going on with that, just send the kids home. Send them back to their, like, you know what I'm saying, with their country. Take their parents, send their parents back. Like,
Exactly.
bring these families back together. You know, even though these people have these communities here, like, I necessarily didn't believe they had to get deported. But now I'm looking at Trump's like reasoning as far as like the benefits and everything we're paying for and everything. So I'm looking at Trump's like reasoning behind everything as far as like taxes and benefits and what we pay for. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe these people are, you know, they're not paying on anything that we're paying on and they're benefiting from it. But that's fine, because these countries these people are coming from, necessarily we didn't directly fund the reason why they're coming, but we played a part in why these people are coming to our country. So we shouldn't turn them away. Like with Mexico, we're their next door neighbors, but that country is literally like corrupt head to toe.
Yeah.
So we're like, that's our neighbor. Did we play a part in that? You see what I'm saying? Like Hillary in her war crimes, what she's going to court for, she played a part in Benghazi falling apart, because she wanted to play into their political system and try to make it into a democracy, and the people rebelled and people got killed. You know, U.S. citizens got killed. So, you know, and they even made a movie on it, which is a really good movie. I'm like, damn, this shit is dope. Then I find out it's real. I'm like, wow, this is like, these are real things. And, you know, and that's when I want to go back into, like, they made a movie off of this, of Hillary's war crimes, and made it seem like a dope movie. But in a sense, those were legit war crimes that were happening, but they made it seem like it was a good thing. You know, they try to shine a light, it was a good thing. And that's how media and Hollywood try to portray this image that these people are bad, these people are good, you know, and now people are looking like back and forth like, well, that could be our first female president. That's a good thing. But she's a war criminal, and she, you know, try to overthrow other countries to get them into the democracy. That's a bad thing. And then we have Trump, who's a racist, you know, but he's a good businessman. So you're looking at the positives and negatives of everybody, and you're never going to get one person who's just good, like you said.
Yeah.
They say, like, you believe in God, God created the good and the bad. So everything is godly. So the people who are too bad, they're godly. The people who are too good, they're godly. You know, so it's like you want this perfect balance between people, but you're not going to get it. So when now he said, like, now I'm thinking about the quote I received. He's like, yo, choose the lesser evil. Like, all right, let me be honest with you. I'm for whoever, what she say, cartoon, you know, Hillary. I'm for whoever's not sacrificing children. If you're not doing anything pedophilia wise, hurting children, you know, taking kids away from their families, starving people, you know, lying about COVID, you know, so people are becoming scared, you know, trying to place people inside this little box. Like, if you're for opening up people's minds where they could think critically and think for themselves, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If you could let people figure out who they want to be, instead of like, you're a football player, you're an artist, you know, you ain't got nothing for it, you're a gangbanger. You know what I'm saying? If you could get off people's backs and let them understand who they want to be, I'm for it. Because either way, you know, if you're letting people expand and grow and understand who they are, it's always going to be a positive thing. Because now people are actually starting to think for themselves. They're starting to think critically. You know, now they're starting to think like, oh, what else can we do? How else can we build? Instead of thinking like everything is okay, everything is fine. Like, because it's not going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be easy either. You know,
Child killers are not okay.
yeah, absolutely not.
But yeah, everything you just said is extremely powerful. I mean, this entire conversation has been really powerful. And I'm so glad that you came on here with me to talk. Have you done an interview before? Have you done many interviews, or first time you interview with me?
You know, I went to the University of Washington, man. We was like #3 in the nation. We was pretty dope. So I did a few interviews. You know?
You're like, I've been around.
This is my first live interview. My first live interview like this. Dope. This is dope though.
Yeah, this was a vibe. I appreciate you coming on here and speaking knowledge too. I think, like you said, people just see athletes and they see that you guys can perform, but it's cool to have an educated fellow on here who can really speak truth and let people know what's goody. Let us know anything else that you would like to leave us with today, whether that's inspiration, motivation, or what you're going to be working on, you being the free agent, no longer with the Broncos.
Yeah. No more Broncos. The recent team, I finished with AZ the last 2 weeks of the season, but I ain't with them right now either. Let me go after the draft, so it's like, we're going to figure it out, but, I just want to end this on a quote, I think that's dope. I seen that on, I forgot what show it was, but they always end stuff like this on a quote. So my quote would be, don't judge a man by how low he falls, judge him by how high he bounces when he has hit the bottom.
I like that.
Yeah, I always thought that would be a dope quote because, eventually you're going to hit the rock bottom. But, it's how you bounce back.
I've never even heard that quote, but you're definitely speaking more facts.
That was me. So that quote, but dash Keishawn Bierria, I think.
Oh, that was you.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm going to take credit for it, but, I ain't really, I don't know where I got it from, but I always thought that was a dope quote. So, yeah.
Okay. I like it. Well, you know what? I hope you stay blessed. I hope you continue to push out good energy. This conversation was great. I could talk to you for hours and hours about more of this stuff, but, you got a life, I got a life. And, it's definitely been a vibe, and I hope you have a blessed night. And everyone else on here, too. I appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Yes, sir. That's my boy AJ right there, Alexander Johnson, man. Godspeed. You heard me?
Thank you, AJ, and everybody else who has joined. You all be blessed, and wear your mask.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just, put it under your nose so you can breathe.
No, you got to put it over your nose.
So if somebody fixing my food and they sick, does that mean I'm going to get sick too?
Wait, what? No, you say if someone's fixing, yeah. I mean, if they have it under their nose, what if something flies out their nose and lands in your food?
But anyways, we're going to be playing tackle football in the month, so I don't think anybody cares now. Basketball just started up 2 days ago, so, I don't know. Maybe they're not gonna be rebounding. Maybe everybody gonna shoot from the 3-point line. You only could, get rebounds and shit. So I don't know.
Like your friend AJ said, Godspeed. Hopefully we figure things out.
Oh yeah. Hey, take your vitamins, your herbs. Look up herbs. Drink tea. Meditate, and spread love.
Always.
Love and
be
peace.
Blessed.
Bless.
Got a hole on him. Riding with a nigga from the pool with a bull on him. If he tryna go, let me